Welcome back to Radically Rational Radio. In this episode, we are going to go over Dr. Robert Redfield's testimony. He was the former CDC Director. He covers why a natural jump was unlikely and the three primary reasons that the lab leak theory had to be taken seriously and investigated thoroughly. Let's get into it.
Redfield. A witness in our roundtable last week said that it was a no-brainer that the virus came from the Wuhan lab.
Dr. Fauci's position, as those who thought of spillover, took the position that it was most likely a spillover event because that's what happened with SARS and that's what happened with MERS. Right? And I think it's important to look at, prior to 2012, we didn't really have another mechanism other than nature. We weren't doing gain-of-function research. Right? I'm a clinical virologist. This virus, SARS and MERS, when they infected man from the intermediate host, civet cat in the case of SARS and a camel in the case of MERS, they never learned how to go human to human. So those original outbreaks were less than 1,000 people, and the epidemics died. And so when everyone thought this was SARS-like, well, it's gonna die too. But this virus was immediately the most infectious virus, not the most, I think probably right behind measles, virus that we've ever seen infect man. So I immediately said, wait a second, this isn't natural. And then you go back and look at the literature and you find in 2014, this lab actually published a paper that they put the H2 receptor into humanized mice so it can infect human tissue. And then you learn that the new COVID, which came from bats, now can hardly replicate in bats.
Yeah.
So how does that happen? So I said that my view as a virologist, again, my hypothesis, and I never discredited them for their hypothesis, it's the spillover, was that this was most likely to come from the lab. And we need to aggressively investigate both hypotheses. I will say, if you go back and look, it's declassified now. And I'm sure you'll all have your classified briefings, but the declassified information now, in September of 2019, three things happened in that lab. One is they deleted the sequences. It was highly irregular. So researchers don't usually like to do that. Second thing they did was they changed the command and control of the lab from the civilian control to the military control. Highly unusual, and I've been involved in dual-use labs when I was in the military. And the third things they did, which I think is really telling, is they let a contractor redo the ventilation system in that laboratory. So I think clearly there was strong evidence that there was a significant event that happened in that laboratory in September. It's now been declassified. You can read it. I'm sure there's more classified information around it.
And there you have it. Now, this isn't about right or left. This is the former director of the CDC. And I bet if we did any research, he's the former director because of his recent actions. But if you just look at the facts, it's clear that there are more things happening at the Wuhan laboratory that would make a virus likely than it randomly happening near that laboratory. I hope this has enlightened you and given you an open mind to how the government is willing to lie to us to maintain power or use fear to gain additional power. This is people versus power, and they want to make it people versus people. If you find someone who is against the lab leak theory and they now see these facts and are willing to come to light, be compassionate, be open-armed, and really identify with the fact that it's really upsetting that they were lied to, and this is how they're finding out the truth. If we beat them up for being wrong, they'll never join the side. Can't fight for who's right. Just have to argue for what the truth is, and we can all have an honest play in this world. Please like, subscribe, comment. This has been Radically Rational Radio. I want you to have a great day. Thank you very much.